There are those among us who deliberately trade the plush, predictable safety of a sheltered life for an existence where the smallest error carries profound, irreversible weight. You might know such a person, or perhaps within the quiet rhythm of your own routine, a subtle recognition awakens. They see the towering monuments of modern security, reinforced steel, algorithmic safeguards, endless layers of protection, not as comfort, but as a suffocating cage for the human spirit. They are drawn almost involuntarily to the precipice of vulnerability, actively seeking situations where the barrier between their fragile body and the world's raw momentum is just a thin layer of leather and the unwavering focus of their own mind. Society often views them with a mixture of bewilderment and patronizing concern, armed with gruesome statistics, tragic tales, and well-meaning warnings about life's inherent fragility. Yet despite the relentless chorus of caution from loved ones and strangers alike, they continue to fasten a heavy helmet, swing a leg over a fiercely vibrating engine, and launch themselves into the wild, unpredictable current of the open road. But this isn't simply about motorcycles. It never was. To look at a rider and see only a reckless enthusiast is to deeply misunderstand the intricate psychology at play. What we observe is a complex physical rebellion against the very nature of modern human existence itself, a philosophical stance taken not with words, but with the undeniable visceral truth of movement. When you witness someone choosing to expose themselves entirely to the raw elements, battling violent, unseen crosswinds, enduring the bone-rattling thrum of a two-wheeled machine, you are seeing a desperate, beautiful attempt to reclaim a primal sense of agency in a world that has engineered authentic friction out of our daily lives. We have constructed a society that falsely equates mere comfort with genuine progress, insulating ourselves behind double-glazed windows and climate-controlled cabins, moving from one sanitized environment to another, while experiencing the world primarily through the glowing, detached rectangles of our digital screens. This deliberate choice, selecting an inherently exposed mode of transit over a secure one, reveals a deep hunger for reality, a profound need to feel existence's raw texture, even when it is abrasive, exhausting, and undeniably perilous. To understand this irresistible draw, we must explore a psychological concept known as mortality salience, the idea that much of our behavior stems from subconscious attempts to avoid awareness of inevitable death. In modern life, we build massive mental and physical structures to deny this truth, hiding illness in sterile institutions and disguising our body's fragility behind comforting illusions of absolute safety. However, when an individual chooses to ride, they actively force mortality salience to the forefront of their consciousness, stripping away the comforting delusions of invincibility that most people rely on daily. By bringing the possibility of their end into sharp focus, they paradoxically trigger an intensely heightened state of living, a profound neurological awakening where the world's colors vividly saturate, peripheral vision expands, and the endless anxieties of past and future dissolve completely into the absolute, terrifying necessity of the present moment. It is not a morbid death wish, as casual observers often assume. Rather, it's a life wish so ferocious that it fundamentally requires the sharp presence of tangible risk to fully awaken their dormant senses. Consider the intricate physical act of navigating a powerful machine through a crowded, chaotic highway where every surrounding vehicle represents a potential catastrophic threat from a distracted, insulated driver. The rider must maintain an exhausting, unbroken vigilance, constantly anticipating erratic movements, reading subtle changes in asphalt texture, calculating the immediate trajectory of a sudden, invisible gust of wind. This demanding behavior reveals a mind that has actively rejected passive consumption of life, a mind that refuses to be a helpless passenger in its own unfolding narrative. While a car driver can let thoughts drift to work stress or morning arguments, sinking into cognitive autopilot, the rider is tethered violently, beautifully, to the absolute now. This continuous, high-stakes processing demands flawless integration of mind and body, pulling the individual forcefully out of modern society's abstract worries and anchoring them firmly in the undeniable reality of their immediate physical environment. There's an uncomfortable truth about human nature we rarely discuss. Our obsessive pursuit of total safety has inadvertently sterilized our souls, leaving us with a pervasive, low-grade sadness. This stems from the chilling realization that nothing we do truly matters because nothing carries any real consequence. We've tragically traded the soaring peaks and devastating valleys of authentic human experience for a flat line of perpetual mild comfort, becoming incredibly safe yet profoundly bored individuals who secretly yearn for a reason to feel their hearts hammer wildly against their ribs. The person choosing a motorcycle over a heavily armored minivan is actively diagnosing this societal sickness and prescribing themselves the only medicine they believe will work, a heavy, concentrated dose of unfiltered, terrifying, magnificent consequence. They understand, even if they can't articulate it perfectly, that a life utterly devoid of risk is entirely indistinguishable from suspended animation. This profound understanding often has invisible roots deep in their upbringing, connecting to early, formative memories of truly interacting with the world before society taught them fear. Think back to the wild, unstructured days of early childhood, climbing too high in a fragile tree or riding a wobbly bicycle too fast down a steep gravel hill, feeling the terrifying, intoxicating thrill of gravity pulling you towards potential disaster. In those fleeting, beautifully unstructured moments, a scraped knee or bruised elbow was never a catastrophic failure, but rather an esteemed badge of honor, tangible proof you had bravely ventured into the unknown and returned with a compelling story. For many riders, the motorcycle serves as the only remaining mechanical conduit back to that pure, unadulterated state of physical interaction with the universe. It's a desperate, conscious attempt to resurrect the vibrant child told to sit still, be quiet, and prioritize safety above all else. It is a daily rebellion against the slow, suffocating normalization of adulthood, where our deepest connections to the physical world are gradually replaced by glowing spreadsheets, synchronized digital calendars, and the hollow accumulation of material wealth we absolutely cannot take with us.
As they repeatedly traverse this dangerous path, what begins as a simple behavioral choice slowly crystallizes into a profound personal identity. This shapes an entirely new life philosophy that permanently separates them from the heavily insulated sleepwalking masses. They become resilient individuals who measure the true value of a day not by how smoothly it went or how comfortably they were accommodated, but by the sheer intensity of the elements they endured and the absolute purity of the focus they maintained through the storm. This hardened philosophy fosters a highly unique, unspoken bond among those who share the road, creating a silent, powerful brotherhood and sisterhood characterized by a simple nod of the helmet at an intersection or the subtle dropping of a left hand on a lonely highway. That fleeting gesture is not just a polite greeting, it's a profound acknowledgement of shared vulnerability. A silent, deeply understood communication that whispers, "I see the difficult choice you have made. I understand the inherent dangers of your path, and I deeply respect the courage it takes to consistently refuse the comfortable anesthesia of the modern world." They recognize in each other the shared understanding that any physical or emotional scars they accumulate are infinitely preferable to the smooth, untouched skin of someone who has never truly stepped into life's arena. The psychology of the rider also forces us to deeply examine our collective delusion regarding control, arguably the most pervasive and dangerous myth of contemporary human existence. When we buckle into a modern car, surrounded by airbags and guided by a calm, automated voice, we actively participate in an elaborate theatrical production designed to convince us we are masters of our destiny. We mistakenly believe that because we can regulate temperature and isolate ourselves from outside sounds, we have conquered the chaotic, unpredictable universe itself. The individual who chooses the motorcycle fundamentally rejects this absurd production, embracing instead the terrifying, liberating honesty of absolute surrender to the overwhelming physics of the natural environment. They intimately understand that true, lasting freedom is not found in the futile attempt to control every external variable, but rather in the rigorous mastery of oneself amidst a chaotic world that remains wildly, beautifully out of our fragile human control. Ultimately, the persistent warnings from society, the horrifying medical statistics, and the tearful, well-intentioned pleas from loved ones completely miss the fundamental architecture of this complex psychological reality. These endless warnings operate entirely on the deeply flawed assumption that the primary goal of human existence is simply to prolong it for as long as biologically possible, entirely ignoring the quality, the depth, and the rich texture of the fleeting time we are actually given. To the committed rider, a long life lived in perpetual fear and sensory deprivation is a far greater, more devastating tragedy than a significantly shorter life lived with the throttle held wide open, fully immersed in the terrifying, magnificent beauty of the present moment. They serve as a vital reminder to the sleepwalking world. Comfort is a beautiful servant, but a tyrannical master, capable of slowly suffocating the human spirit while deceptively convincing us it merely keeps us safe. And so, as you sit safely behind the glass of your own life and watch them disappear rapidly into the distance, leaving you in the quiet, undisturbed safety of your carefully managed existence, it forces a profound, unavoidable inventory of your own daily choices. In your desperate, lifelong pursuit to meticulously protect yourself from the unpredictable pain, the sudden impacts, and the glorious chaos of the outside world, what vital, breathing parts of your own soul have you slowly, quietly, and permanently dulled?